Bring all parts close to the stair. Unpack all pillars and the accessories from the large box and place them neatly. Screws can be given in small boxes. Screw the M8 set screws in all pillars. Pay attention that they do not protrude inside the pipe. Place the pillars according to the installation drawing. Unpack the first rail part. Remove the plastic end cap and bring through the cable with a draw-in spring. Now install the first rail part into the first pillars. Pay attention on the dimension from floor to lower edge of the lower rail. The rest can be adjusted vertically with the magnetic water level and tightened with one set screw per pillar. Unpack the next rail part and bring it into the correct pillars. Bring through the cable and connect both rail parts. Adjust the rail part vertically with the magnetic water level. Bring in M6 screw and the connecting pins. Pay attention that you do not cut off the cable in the lower pipe. Proceed in the same way with the next rail parts. On the last part, bring the cable through the side hole in the lower pipe. At horizontal top overruns or on intermediate landings, it is necessary to check the dimension from floor to lower edge of the lower rail. This dimension must be between 105 and 120 mm to enable an ergonomic height of the seat. At a stop at last step, use the dimensions given at the drawing. If you do not reach those dimensions, adjust the rail again from the top to the bottom. Unpack the drive unit and bring the unit onto the rail by using the installation pipes. Deinstall the front and the side cover of the drive unit, then install the batteries. Take the seat and place it on the drive unit. Use an M8 countersunk head screw with washer and spring washer for each of the two fixing holes on the right. Place the spacer plate on the two center mounting holes first and then screw it in place with two M8 pan head screws including spring washers. The screws used are the same for the automatic and manual swivel seat. Thread the connecting plug of the seat through the drive unit and connect it to the plug of the drive unit. Now carefully move the drive unit onto the rail using either the joystick or a remote control. If you use the joystick for this step, the safety belt must be plugged in. You can then remove the two installation tubes. Fasten the rear cover plate with two M4 pan head screws. Mount the front cover plate with two M4 countersunk screws with plastic plates. Adjust the rail according to the drawing and check if the unit can pass everywhere without any collision. Cut off the cable to the correct length at upper position, pay attention that it will not get too short on lower position. Crimp the supplied cable lugs onto the cable. The black cable is the negative pole with the 5 mm cable lug, the brown cable is the positive pole with the 3 mm cable lug. Fix the stop console to the wished position with two M5 screws. Then fix the brown cable to the copper and the black cable to the rack. On horizontal intermediate stops and end stops, it is necessary to place an additional copper plate at the upper rail. It is necessary to enable a correct connection between minus pole of charger and drive unit. The exact stop console adjustment will be done after fixing the unit. To find the best lower stop position, drive the unit to the most ergonomic position. Bring on the stop console till the end switch gets activated and fix it at this position with two M5 screws. Pay attention that there is enough gap between the lower pin and the emergency end plate to avoid an unintended activation of the emergency end stop. Place the charger nearby the upper or the lower end stop. Cut the cable of the charger and the system to the ideal length. On the stop where the charger is located nearby, you can crimp the black cable from the charger together with the black cable from the unit onto one 5 mm cable lug, and also the brown cable from the unit together with the white cable from the charger onto one common 3 mm cable lug. Connect the cables to the stop console and the rack. Align all pillars optically. Check again the correct position of the rail. If all is placed perfectly, fix one of the first pillars and one of the last pillars to avoid any unintended movement during drilling. Now you can also fix the rest of the pillars with the delivered screws. Adjust the copper curve, that the upper copper pin of the lower carriage gets, no matter if with or without load, pressed properly. For units with intermediate stops, this adjustment must be done more accurately as the intermediate stop switch will get activate if the copper pin will be pressed too far. Pay attention that there is enough gap between the emergency end stop plate and the lower pin. This is necessary to avoid an unintended activation of the emergency end stop. Also adjust the lower copper curve, that the upper copper pin of the lower carriage gets, no matter if with or without load, pressed properly. For units with intermediate stops, this adjustment must be done more accurately as the intermediate stop switch will get activate if the copper pin will be pressed too far. Pay attention that there is enough gap between the emergency end stop plate and the lower pin. This is necessary to avoid an unintended activation of the emergency end stop. Check if all connection and set screws are tight. Put some grease onto the rack. Finally, put all covers back on the lift. If ordered, bring on the covers for the pillar ground plate. That's it. Now Lehner wishes you much pleasure installing the Alpha stairlift.